Hey everyone, it's Nick A30 here. Have you
struggled for a long time with surviving
when you're using the bow on The Last of Us multiplayer? Well, don't you worry. I'm going to be sharing some advanced tips and tricks that will make you guys become absolute pros with one of the most underrated weapons. Let's get into it. The pop-and-shot. The pop-and-shot technique is basically aiming and shooting the bow, and while your character is reloading, you stop aiming to move left and right, and if you can, crouch and stand back up while moving left and right. This throws off the enemy's aim, and you're not a sitting duck while your character reloads. While aiming when doing the pop-and-shot, I recommend drag shotting. This is a very easy way to aim with the bow because of the aim assist on The Last of Us. As your reticle is panning over the environment, it will go normal speed, but then as it goes over the enemy's body, it will be slowed down from aim assist, making it very easy to time and release an arrow while your reticle is on the enemy. I find it to be the easiest way to aim with the bow. In this case, I'm partially behind cover, and as you can see, after each one of my shots, I stop aiming while my character reloads, so my character crouches down and becomes a much smaller target. This is just showing you guys what it looks like when someone's performing the pop-and-shot technique on you. As you can see, it really throws off your aim. So here it is again, successfully pulling off the pop-and-shot. Here is unsuccessfully pulling off the pop-and-shot. You do not want to be a sitting duck. This next technique is what I like to call the arrow knockout blow. For this tactic, when you have a 2x4 from a supply cache, you're going to want to put one arrow into an enemy and then quickly swing your 2x4 to finish him off. This enemy has a modded 2x4, but I'm still able to stick an arrow into him and then swing my 2x4 to down him before he can even touch me. It's such an effective tactic because you can perform it so quickly. The arrow knockout blow technique can also work with your fists and the machete as well. But before I go any further, I'll walk you guys through the damage that these weapons deal. So summarizing all that info, against an unarmored opponent you could body shot them and then hit them with a 2x4 swing, 2 punches, or 2 slashes with a machete. Against an enemy with body armor, the technique doesn't work so well since you need multiple body shots and or multiple melee hits to down an enemy. But if you headshot an armored opponent, you could then down them with a 2x4 swing, a machete slash, or 2 punches. Technique number 3, corner shooting. Let's go. While aiming in cover, slowly creep out while adjusting your aim so that the bow reticle is lined up on the enemy. Make sure you're still as far into cover as possible so that the trajectory path for the arrow is just barely on the enemy, and it would hit the cover you're hiding behind if you were to move ever so slightly back in the cover. This tactic allows you to hide your entire body from the enemy while you're still able to shoot them. With corner shooting, I like to pop in cover while I'm reloading, then pop back out and shoot, like you see here, just so the enemy has even less opportunities to shoot at you. So, in these clips, you'll see my buddy trying to shoot me, but since I'm corner shooting, the only thing exposed are my hands, which is a very small target. Now here's what he was seeing. You'll notice that he's shooting me with no problem whatsoever, yet I can barely even see his hand to shoot it. Corner shooting works whether you're standing or crouching, so here's a clip showcasing crouching while corner shooting. Now, the bow is the only weapon in The Last of Us multiplayer, the only one that allows you to corner shoot and has practically your entire body in cover. No other weapon allows you to do this. You'll see that with the hunting rifle when I'm trying to corner shoot, but I easily get shot down right here because my body is just exposed. Right here, my buddy stated that he is as far into cover as possible while still being able to have his crosshair on me. As you can see, it's nothing like how hidden you are when corner shooting with the bow, and it's what corner shooting looks like for every single weapon in The Last of Us other than the bow. Now obviously with corner shooting, you don't want your enemies to have an angle on you, otherwise you won't be hidden. Right here, I have an angle on my buddy, and you can see how much of his body is exposed. Corner shooting is ineffective in this case. Moreover, you need to perform corner shooting against walls and objects that are flat, otherwise your body will be exposed tremendously, such as here. And here, where my enemy is using a tree, which is curved, to corner shoot. It's very difficult to pinpoint where arrows are being fired from with the bow. See, I shoot this guy once and he keeps running forward to take cover in this building, as he is unaware where the shot's coming from. Here's what it looks like getting shot by the burst rifle and practically any other weapon besides the bow in The Last of Us. So it's very easy to determine where the shot is coming from by listening to the gunfire. And there's even a small line of blood that always indicates where the shots are coming from. The little blood line when being shot by the bow is just as similar as the blood line when being shot by any other weapon. However, unlike every other weapon, you can't clearly pinpoint where the arrows are being fired from by using sound, like you can with gunfire. This is because the bow is the most silent weapon in The Last of Us multiplayer, even quieter than the Spectre, the Silent Semi-Auto, and so forth. This makes it an ultimate stealth weapon for flanking, as enemies cannot rely as much on sound to track down enemies that are firing arrows, as you would be able to normally when facing against any other weapon. Instead, players can basically only use the little bloodlines, which are hard to see while in battles, as cues to determine where arrows are being shot from. In other words, the bow is perfect for flanking. There's a very noticeable 52-second increase in fire rate between the unupgraded and single upgraded bow, whereas there's only a 16-second increase in fire rate between the single and double upgraded bow. Hence, when you guys are using the bow, a single upgrade should be mandatory, and I recommend a second upgrade too, because with the tactics I presented, you're going to be typically up close and personal with the enemy, so fire rate is very crucial for survival. For instance, this enemy has a Spectre, which has the fastest fire rate out of every weapon. We both fire at roughly the same time, yet I'm easily able to down and execute him with my double upgraded bow, since it fires arrows so quickly. Now here's the loadout that I use: the Enforcer, the bow, Sharpshooter 3, since with the majority of tactics I presented, you're going to be head up with the enemy and you want to try and minimize the damage wobble of your character when getting shot, so you can aim accurately to pull off those techniques. First aid training 1, because these tactics are very aggressive in nature and you're going to be in enemy territory a lot, so you'll need to heal up very quickly if you want to survive. Sharp Ears 2, so you can constantly use listen mode to have the drop on enemies to know when it's the perfect time to use the drop-in shot, the arrow, knocko blow, corner shooting, or any other tactic. You'll just simply be ready to strike with Sharp Ears. With this loadout, you could also swap with your Enforcer with the revolver, allowing you to get Sharp Ears 3 instead of 2. Really quickly, I'd like to give a shout out to all these people that helped me with this video. It wouldn't have been possible without them. Thanks guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this tips and tricks video. If you're new, remember to hit that subscribe button because I'll be working on a part 2 tips for the bow, as well as other tips and tricks videos very soon. Also, if you guys have any questions about anything covered in this video, anything at all, just drop a comment because I read and respond to every single one. And also, I'm sure most of you have heard of them, but SanchoWest has some great tips and tricks videos covering everything related to The Last of Us multiplayer, such as tips for the bow. All of them are really detailed, and you guys will definitely want to check out his channel. So, Sancho gave me a shout out before that helped me out a lot, and I'd like to return the favor even though my channel isn't as large as his. If any of you do check out his video, please make sure to comment that Nick sent you so he knows that I appreciate the shout out he gave me before. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.
Now, every time I play supply raids, I would say 80% of the time, this is pretty much what happens.